So now I would like to introduce your friend and mine, Akvile DeFazio, who's going to help us understand some of the mysteries of Facebook targeting. So, Akvile, you're on.
All right, let me share my screen. And can everyone hear me okay? All right. Let's see. Oh, could you please enable the screen sharing feature?
Oops. Yep.
Does that to me on conference calls all the time.
Yeah, I wish they could change that default.
Yeah.
Can you see it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, try it now.
Okay, great. Let me just pull up. Oops. Can you see my presentation?
Not yet. It's coming in. There it is. Got it.
Good. Okay, so just the presentation, nothing else?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. All right, so hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the second annual Paid Search Association Conference, as David aforementioned. I'm very excited and honored to kick off our the first session. So let's dive in to learn some creative and innovative targeting tactics using Facebook and Instagram ads that can help you drive more traffic, engagement, conversions, and other goals that are important to your business. So for those of you that are tuning in that I've not previously had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Akvile DeFazio. I'm the president of Advertise, and we are a social media advertising agency based in Central California. We work primarily with e-commerce brands, mobile apps, events, on-demand services, and entertainment industry clients. While we've been in business for 6 years, I've been working in the digital marketing and advertising space for 13. Wow, getting my start in paid search, meeting David and the rest of the crew here back then, and then later being captivated and specializing in social media advertising. If you'd like to connect with me after the show, say hi via Twitter at Akvile DeFazio or contact me at advertise.com. All right, so enough about me, and let's discuss why we're here today and what we'll cover over the course of this session and how it can help you with your campaigns. The targeting tactics we will discuss work on both Facebook and Instagram for the most part, and we will discuss some funnel-specific native and custom audiences you can test if you haven't done so yet. We'll also talk about an iOS 14 update workaround for retargeting that might work, and we'll move on to using UTM parameters to create custom audiences, followed by the ways that you can target based on the forecast, and then we'll discuss how you can create custom audiences using Instagram Stories ads pools. That's a mouthful, huh? Well, then finally we'll wrap up with Q&A. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Trying to incorporate that in-person conference feel to it. So let's begin with funnel-specific native and custom audiences. If your brand or Facebook ads account is relatively new and you don't have enough email lists of leads, customers, subscribers, enough app users tagged with your SDK, or enough website visitors tagged with your pixel, you will want to begin with what Facebook has available for targeting within its own platform. We call these native audiences if you're new to paid social. Once you accumulate enough website visitors, emails, or other actions, you will then be able to set up custom audiences. As we can see here by the breakdown, Facebook has an impressive vault of demographic targeting ranging from age, gender, location, to interests, behaviors, job titles, and other demographics. You can get quite granular here by finding audiences that people are shopping maybe for a new used vehicle, parents of different age range children, and much more. Even if your brand isn't new and you're looking for other relevant and broad new audiences to expand into, test some of these out, play around with it. In addition, you can then set up custom audience lookalikes, which we'll cover shortly. If you have more budget to play with and want another way to reach new, broader upper funnel audiences, duplicate your pre-existing interest-based ad sets. And in the new ad set, test out trying by selecting the detailed targeting expansion checkbox. With this option, Facebook will show your ads to more relevant people in an effort to help you reach your optimization goal. As a heads up, detailed targeting expansion only works with native audiences and not custom audiences. Depending on your business, you may, your goals or your relevant audiences that you want to reach, here are some to get you started when it comes to your sources to create custom audience lookalikes for your prospecting campaigns. If you're new to this, prospecting are upper funnel, colder audiences that you want to get introduced to. And while there are countless lookalike audiences you can create using your sources, this is just a small list of some more commonly used ones. And using these or ones like them to create lookalikes will give you an effective, broad, yet targeted audience to reach. I encourage you to start using 1% and 2% lookalikes because those ones will be most like your original audience in terms of interest and behaviors. As you scale, exhaust smaller percentage lookalike audiences, and have more budget, you can test up to 10% lookalikes, which are the most broad and least like your original audience. And if this is new for you, lookalike audiences are audiences that are like your existing audience. So say you import an email list of your existing customers and you want to find new people that are like your customers, Facebook does a really great job of finding people based on interests, behaviors, and other data sets to find people like them that are brand new. For your warmer retargeting audiences, here is a sample list of some custom audiences you may want to test if relevant for your business. From the usual suspects of website visitors that have not yet converted, to your list of unconverted leads, maybe email newsletter subscribers, cart abandoners, we often see accounts that don't test out some additional warmer audiences mid and lower funnel, such as those that have previously engaged with your Facebook or Instagram accounts, posts, or ads, people that viewed a higher percentage of your video ads, or the top 5% or maybe even top 10% of your website visitors by the time they spent on your site. These indicate that they're warmer and that they're interested in what you have to offer, but they haven't taken that action yet. So build these out, give them a try, and use them to strengthen your retargeting strategy. With the iOS 14 update that we've been all waiting for, it's potentially going to impact Facebook advertising and our retargeting campaigns to an extent. So we will still be able to retarget users who visited our websites. While we don't have all the details yet, one similar thing that we saw last year when the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA, passed and it slashed pixel-based retargeting audience reach and spend, one solution we found was that we ramped up our post and ad engagement retargeting audiences, and we were still able to capture users that previously visited our sites from ads. By definition, according to Facebook, clicks on ads are a form of engagement. So you try this out, use it as a backup to your website visitors retargeting campaigns going forward to recapture users that you may lose otherwise and drive them to convert. We did this when the CCPA rolled out and we lost a lot of traction in California with retargeting audiences, but we saw that doing this strategy helped get some of those people back. One thing to be mindful of when running retargeting campaigns is to use exclusions. Sure, there are instances where we don't want to exclude pre-existing customers, but if your products or services can be repurchased, add them back into your retargeting bucket, but perhaps exclude customers that purchased in the last 7, 14, maybe 30 days, depending on purchase frequencies that you see. Other times, brands see success by not excluding customers altogether, as they may leave a comment on ads that they love the product or the service. And this can only just strengthen the trust in your brand, give your ad more social proof, help lower your costs, and indirectly drive more conversions as people want what others already have or what they're talking about. If you're trying to convert your leads into paying customers, you may want to exclude submitted leads in your sales campaigns and unresponsive leads so that your list is clean and you aren't wasting impressions and budget. And if you have an email list of disgruntled contacts, keep that updated to prevent any unwanted negative comments on your ads going forward and adversely affecting prospective customers taking an action and possibly converting. We do this for a few of our clients. We've had some people express that they're not happy with certain things, or they're leaving negative comments. And if we have them already in our email database, we'll use them to keep our ads a little more positive and our results not impacted adversely. One thing we've seen great success in from some of our clients is to run occasional re-engagement campaigns to drive repeat conversions or upsell to existing customers. A tactic that helps our conversion rates increase and CPAs decrease are re-engagement campaigns where we target all customers in one ad set and email subscribers in another, with ads that resemble our most recent email blast so that we have more bases covered and we can repurpose our content across channels and mediums. Who doesn't want to save time, right? So for example, for one of our shoe clients, anytime they run an email to promote a new shoe style or promotion, we simultaneously launch ads with that shoe or similar messaging on Facebook and Instagram and run them for a few days. If the user isn't able to interact with the email when they see it, or if they open it and they don't convert, maybe they will see our ads later and be reminded of it, thus improving our conversion rates. And while we do this for campaigns, we always exclude recent purchasers, so we don't bombard our recent customers too often, as it can be a little off-putting if a brand is too aggressive. So just take into account what your business is, who your audiences are, and how they might engage with it. So try this out, use the user conversion historical data, and use your best judgment of who to exclude over what period of time. Let's now discuss some unique custom audiences by using UTM parameters if you haven't done so before. If you want more relevant and targeted upper funnel audiences to reach, create a fake UTM parameter in the ad level, such as UTM_odd. We use this for respective audiences and tag them with something that we will understand. We typically create a key with abbreviations in a spreadsheet so that it doesn't make any prospects uncomfortable if it shows up in the URL string, and it doesn't give our competitors insight into targeting. In this example, we set up a custom audience for landing page visitors with this fake UTM parameter for a particular audience, in this case, homeowners, and we targeted only homeowners in the ad set, so we knew exactly who they were rather than grouping them with other targeting options. And since we don't know what targeting options will be available in the future, as Facebook often removes an ad's native audiences, building these out can help give you some leeway to strategize other targeting tactics if a fruitful native audience goes away for you. So give these a try, see how they do, take advantage of Facebook's targeting data with new ad sets, use lookalikes for using UTMs for prospecting, and use custom audiences for retargeting. Next, let's cover how you can leverage the forecast into helping boost conversions using weather-based targeting automation tools. What is it? Well, weather-based targeting is a way to create and set up automated rules, which include activating and deactivating your ad sets if and when certain temperature or weather system criteria is met. You can also set up weather automated rules that can modify your bids. It also works on Google if you're running ads there, and you can change creative assets to best resonate with weather in your target location. With some of the third-party services that are available to set up for these automated rules, you will typically set up your Facebook campaigns, ad sets, and ads as you typically would in Ads Manager. Though keep in mind when you're setting everything up that you're speaking to the weather in a particular audience that is seamless across the ad copy, to your creatives, and to your landing pages, so you can quickly drive those conversions while the weather is really impacting somebody. We aren't affiliated with weatherads.io, but we use them for some of our client accounts to set up weather automated rules. And when we set them up, we publish the campaign sets the campaigns as active, but how the ad sets within are usually paused. So that way, when the criteria is met, it triggers them to turn them on. What's great about weather targeting services is that you can target for different types of weather. You can target by temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit. You can also target ads if the weather event or type took place in the last 7 days, is taking place currently, or will be on the forecast in the upcoming 7 days. Like most platforms, they have automated rules set up, and these services also have qualifier options where you can select equal or less than to for temperature, equal to, equal or greater than. So depending on what makes most sense for you, you can set these conditions up to show that when they're met, your ads will show or not show. In addition to temperature-based targeting, just about every weather type is available within these service providers. Typical options for weather targeting you may see are rain, snow, cloudy, hailing, blizzard, tornado. As you can see here on the list, I think they have everything covered. Setup is simple. However, there are some caveats if you do try this out for any clients or businesses that you work for that might benefit from weather targeting. But weather targeting will restart the Facebook learning phase every time they activate. So while typically we don't want that to happen as it can disrupt optimization and performance, we haven't noticed a significant enough impact to discontinue using these automated rules for some of our accounts, if not most of them. When it comes to custom location targeting, Facebook only allows up to 200 custom locations per ad set, which can make this setup process a bit more time consuming. What this means for you is that if you want to target the US as a whole, you will need to set up 17 ad sets that will not exceed 200 locations each. If you try weather ads, they do have a very helpful resource on their site that shows how many locations are in each state, and that if you want to target the US as a whole, they list state groupings so that you don't exceed the maximum locations per ad set. Using the combination of weather-based automation rules paired with your audience targeting, geolocation, ad copy, creative, and relevant landing pages should give you a boost in conversions regardless of what they might be. So if that's something that might be useful for you, check that out. Next, let's discuss one of my favorite and incredibly well-performing Instagram Stories ads targeting tactics. Instagram stories adds polling stickers, another mouthful of a phrase, but this feature is heavily underutilized and is incredibly effective as an upper funnel targeting tactic for a variety of reasons. They give you a better understanding of product or service preferences. They gather insights for future product development and campaigns. You can use them as intel in understanding pain points that you can resolve for your customers. You can use them to start conversations about your brand and your campaigns, and they will increase your ad engagement rates. And ultimately, they will increase your ad engagement audience size for retargeting campaigns where you can target users based off of their past ad engagement or their organic post engagement, but here we're using for ads. So it's a quick, inexpensive, fruitful way to feed your funnel and your bottom line. If you haven't done so yet in retargeting campaigns, test retargeting to people that have previously engaged with your ads on Instagram over the last X number of days. Then serve them some retargeting ads across Facebook and Instagram to maximize your reach and results. And here are a few fun examples. They don't have to be anything complex, as we can see here. Something simple yet on brand so users can click one of the two poll options will do the trick. Whether there's a poll option like the Staples ad to the left where they ask what is the right way to hang toilet paper, which is also very timely given how people were hoarding it at the beginning of COVID, to asking people about their preferences about an upcoming event like CMA Fest or maybe a conference that they're going to or maybe a podcast or webinar. And which product or color they might like better, looking at this West Elm ad on the right, whether you want yellow or blue, or maybe other products that you have. All right, so now let's review one of our client examples from the top of the funnel and see how we use them for Instagram poll ads to the bottom of the funnel. So here's our custom window insert client into Windows. A goal for this particular client is to acquire leads, and we do this by enticing our target audiences to complete a lead generation form on their website so that they can receive a free estimate for their window products. Once lead comes in, their dedicated in-house sales team reaches out to prospects, and then a sale is made. In our Instagram stories poll ad, we ask what type of outside noise bothers you most inside your home with poll options for traffic or people. We created a background video so you can do images and videos on the background of these to showcase people and cars to visually complement the copy and the poll question. This gives us intel about heightened awareness of noise problems as more people are home these days, and it gives us geographic insights as well as to what noise issues people deal with in the various places that they live. Using this workaround to drive inexpensive brand awareness, traffic, and engagement, we ask people to answer this timely, relatable question. And as we can see, this is a quick method to get users to engage with the brand. And since we're able to add a landing page URL, we can accomplish a secondary goal here by also offering a landing page for them to get to learn more about us, to get them tagged by our pixel since we're sending them to the site, and to drive more leads either at this step or lower in the funnel. And we use brand awareness as a campaign objective since the engagement campaign objective is not currently available for this placement for Instagram stories. Plus, a brand awareness campaign is typically lower in cost. And in terms of cost, what you may be able to expect, we're getting currently a 7-cent cost per ad recall lift. In terms of cost per vote, we're paying 14 cents, which you too should find much lower than other acquisition methods of getting new users into your funnel. When it comes to CPCs, there is a little downside here as they are higher, but that is because our goal here is not clicks. So naturally, we're going to have a lower click-through rate and higher CPCs since we're trying to get awareness here, but people are taking an action. While we're generating clicks as a secondary goal here, they are about 2 to 3 times more expensive as CPCs we're seeing in other upper funnel website traffic campaign objectives. Another reason we see higher costs here is that Facebook recommends ad placement liquidity, which means that your ads will typically perform better if they run in at least 4 ad placements per ad set. This will give the algorithm more options to serve your ads, thus reaching more people and lowering your costs. And while that's great, it doesn't apply here as we can only use the Instagram stories ad placement in order to use polls. If you do want to lower your costs in this type of placement tactic to feed your funnel with new audiences, test out broader and different audiences, maybe questions and poll response options, the placement of your poll sticker on the creative itself, different background creatives, whether it's video or static imagery, and play around with the ad copy and see if it performs better, then add more budget, and that can help further lower your costs over time if it performs well. And to recapture poll engagement users, we then set up retargeting campaigns across Facebook and Instagram to retarget users that engage with our Instagram post or ad in the last X days. This is similar to what we discussed earlier when covering the iOS 14 update as it relates to ad engagement retargeting as a workaround. While we aren't able to specify which post or ad we want to retarget these engaged users for, we notice that since running poll ads higher up in the funnel, these retargeting audiences have seen a boost in having their audiences filled with more users, maintaining a low frequency, and generating leads at a lower cost than some of our other retargeting campaigns. If you haven't run an Instagram Stories poll ad sticker yet, worry not, it's easy. So let's quickly cover how you can do that. So inside your selected campaign's ad set level, only select the Instagram Stories ad placement. If you select any others, even if it's Facebook or Messenger Stories, the poll sticker feature will not appear in the ad level. At this time, Facebook doesn't have a Facebook Stories one, but that's all right, as most of the views are Instagram Stories given their higher viewing rates these days. And when you're ready to create your interactive poll ad, head over to the ad level and check the box for add an interactive poll located under the call to action button, as we can see here. And once you do that, the customization box will expand where you can add your poll option and your question and the two poll options. Play around with the size and the position of the poll sticker before publishing to make sure it's not covering any important text, any part of your creative that you want seen, your logo, and that it doesn't lie outside of Stories margins and gets cut off. And once you run your poll for enough time, you'll naturally want to see the responses, right? But where do we find the results? So while one would think that poll results would be included reporting, they are not. They are a little buried. So let me show you where you can find the results of your polls to save you some time digging around. So if you go to the ad name and you hover over the poll ad and the view charts link will appear here. So click that. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom when the window opens, and your poll interactivity results will be located here. You'll be able to see the total reach, the total number of poll responses, and the totals and percentages of each of the two poll options. And that's it. So thank you for your time and for tuning in today. I hope you found this presentation interesting and that it will be helpful for your campaigns.
Thank you so much, Akvile. That was astounding.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have a few questions here. First one's, what is the name of the supplier for Weathercast?
So for that one, we use weatherads.io.
Okay. Weatherads.io. I'm going to type that into the chat box.
Thank you.
Somebody did. Thank you. Next question is from me, and it is, how have you found the performance of Instagram for B2C e-commerce?
For B2C, really great. Also for B2B as well. It just depends on who your audience is, and you're really making the messaging and the creatives connect. With Instagram being such a visually appealing platform, just make sure that you're trying to showcase something that might be interesting, relevant, or entertaining to your audience, and just complement that with your ad copy. And most times I just say send people to your website so you can then kind of own that person rather than keeping them on Facebook or Instagram. Sorry, gotcha. Jason.
Next question is also from me, which is quite a while ago, maybe a couple of years, Facebook kind of tightened up their targeting and eliminated some targeting options. I think it could have been in order to adhere to one of those new policies that have long acronyms, but I think it was essentially to make sure that there was no personally identifiable information in the targeting that could be divulged to the advertiser. So some experts like yourself have devised workarounds to target some of the more obvious populations. Do you care to talk about any of that?
Sure. I think you're possibly referring to when Audience Insights changed about 2 years ago with the whole privacy update. So we were previously able to import custom audiences and look at native ones and get more detailed information about who resides in those audiences based on different demographics, whether it was income, how they spend their money, where they live, their education level, their interests. We can still get that to an extent for some audiences, but it's definitely changed in the last 2 years. So we're a little blind in how we can understand as much as we can from people. But I think that one thing that we do for a lot of our clients is we'll have little quick surveys at the end of a conversion on their website just to get a little more information if the customer is able or willing to give that up, because we can't get that from Facebook. And we can kind of try to put it together, whether, where did you find us from, or, where do you live, or, different types of information that may be helpful to that particular account. So there's small workarounds, but we definitely have lost a lot of insight.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for that. Let's see. Another question is the AUD equals UTM parameter is for preserving interest. He wasn't 100% certain about the usage. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. So 2 years ago, this is kind of when it started, where we lost a lot of targeting options. So the example I used was for homeowners, and that's no longer available in Facebook. But we have a client that does home-based services that's really important to us. So before that option went away, we added the UTM underscore odd parameter. So anytime we targeted people with one interest and then people would click on that ad, that UTM parameter would load. And then we can create a custom audience of people that hit that UTM parameter. So we would know that this is that audience, and then we could create lookalikes off of them, which were very effective in terms of finding people that are like those native audiences. So once that went away, that custom audience kind of held us over for the next several months.
Gotcha. Okay, last question. Now, I want to remind the audience that you can ask questions even after the session is over, and we will try to answer them during the panel discussion. But the last question is, after the iOS 14 update, what are the recommendations again, and how do you counteract this affecting conversion reporting? And should we run separate ad sets for Android and iOS devices?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself. When it comes to the first question for countering the effect of conversion reporting, one thing we're doing is those post-conversion surveys on customer or our client websites. So asking where they came from. So then that way we can start seeing what percentage of people came from Facebook or Instagram if we start losing that tracking ability. We've been doing that for a few weeks now, and we're starting to get a general idea of how many people actually do come from Facebook and Instagram compared to other sources. So that's one way that we can kind of take those ratios and maybe apply them when we see a change in conversions. It might be harder for a new account because of that lack of historical data. When it comes to separate ad sets, that's actually a great question. I think that that's a smart idea. You might want to do Android and iOS and see how that fares. I know that typically it's better to keep them bundled together unless you're doing an app-based campaign where you do need to separate those out. But test it out, see how it does. I might do that as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, will you be back for the panel discussion?
I will.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Akvile. I appreciate
Thank you so
your
much, everyone.
participation.